Hey there, I'm Bob Proctor. You know, the other day, Ian Nicholson was in my office, and he asked me a question. In fact, he asked me two questions. He says, how did you really get started in this? And then he said, how did you stay in it? You know, I've been in this business now for 41 years, travel all over the world. This week I have to fly from Toronto to California, then back to Toronto on Monday, go down Friday, back Monday. Tuesday I have to go to Bucharest in Romania. And you know, this has just been going on now for over 40 years. He said, how did you stay in it? And I got thinking about it, and I realized it's the programming that I've received since 1961, because I was studying for a good 7 or 8 years before that. I've always had phenomenal assistants. You see, I had no formal education. I had about 3 months high school. I had no business experience. I was sitting in a fire hall earning $4,000 a year, and a couple of years later, my income was bordering on $1 million a year. Now, how do you make a change like that? And then how do you sustain it? How do you keep it going? That was his question. You see, I started out, he had never even seen these. He's not old enough, I guess. These are records, and they're 33 RPM records. If you're not a pretty good age, you'll probably have to go and ask your parents about it. But I started out with this record, and this is called The Magic Word by Earl Nightingale. And then I ended up selling these records. I mean, there's a dozen of them here. It's called the Lead the Field program. It's a program that the Nightingale Conant Corporation was virtually built on because it's phenomenal. And the magic word was attitude. See, attitude is everything about you. It's everything you're expressing. If you're finding fault with things, you've got a bad attitude. If you're looking for the good in things, you've got a good attitude. Now, bad attitudes never produce good results, and good attitudes never produce bad results. I didn't really understand any of this when I started to study it, but it was the coaching that I received from Earl Nightingale and then a series of people after that. He was my mentor. He was where I went for inspiration, for knowledge. And I see coaching or mentoring as transferring information from one mind to another. Now, Earl Nightingale had been studying this since I was a little boy, and he was the most listened to man in the industry, in the broadcasting industry at the time. So he had a tremendous amount of information, and I just couldn't seem to get enough of it. I ended up going to work with him for 5 years. But I've always had a mentor. Prior to Earl Nightingale, I was into Napoleon Hill. This is his Master Key to Riches. In fact, this is a personal autograph copy of the Master Key to Riches. And there's something in here that I've been focusing on for quite a while, the law of cosmic habit force. It's an interesting concept. And Napoleon Hill explains that so well. When you talk about cosmic habit force, well, you're dealing with the cosmos, you're dealing with the universe, and there's a part of your mind that's universal, that's your subconscious mind. When you take an idea and you repeatedly program it into your subconscious mind or impress it upon your subconscious mind, ultimately it becomes fixed there, and that's better known as a habit. A habit is an idea that's fixed in your subconscious or your universal mind that automatically expresses itself without any action on your part. That's cosmic habit force. And of course, he talks about that. I teach that. Now, where did I get it? I got it from these coaches, you see. And I've always had someone that I'm studying. I got into it by reading Think and Grow Rich. And when I get into that book, I have never laid it down. I just kept reading it. And then that led me into all this other material. But I found that I could accomplish anything if I had the right assistance. Now, you see, when I first started, I got into a section of Napoleon Hill stuff where he talked about organized planning. And he pointed out that you need information. You need specialized information. And of course, I didn't have any, so I thought, well, you know, that deals me out. I got dealt a bad hand. But then the man that was coaching me at the time, he said, no, wait a minute. he pointed out where Napoleon Hill learned from Andrew Carnegie, who was the wealthiest man in the world. He said the accumulation of great wealth calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But he said that knowledge does not have to be in the possession of the person who accumulates the fortune. And I thought, voila, I don't need the knowledge. But what I did need, I needed the help. And I bought the help. Napoleon Hill says it pays to know where to buy knowledge. And, we buy almost everything in the sun. We buy food, we buy clothes, we buy houses, we buy cars, we buy lawn furniture. It makes sense to buy knowledge because it's a knowledge that enables you to buy all the other things, you see. And this was pointed out to me very early in my career. And so since 1961, I've been studying, but since 1961, I've had a team of people helping me.